Hi, this is Tranisha Cottrell, and today I wanted to talk about faking it. I'm not sure if in the past I had a video called Faking It, but today, man, it was a real struggle day. And it's not anything in particular, it's just really life. Life happens every day, and there's nothing that you can do about it. The only thing that you can do is what you can do. You can't do, like, you can't make someone act how you want them to act. You can't make them be at a certain place they're supposed to be. You can't make them do any of the things that they're supposed to do. The only thing that you could do is just be the best you that you could be. And regardless of what any other person does, there's nothing that you can do about it. And I wish I was stronger on here right now. Like that I could just smile and pretend as if like I'm not feeling the way that I'm feeling and pretend as if I don't have emotions or that every day is always peaches and cream or whatever else or unicorns and butterflies and rainbows and all this other stuff, but that's not how real life is. Real life happens regardless of what it is that you're doing in your life, and you could be doing the best that you can, you could be trying the best that you can be doing everything right, and life will still happen. And it's not that I'm saying that you won't be blessed. Of course, God will bless you. I'm saying that in real life things happen. People, people come, people go, things happen to people. Sometimes things happen to good people, and sometimes things happen to bad people. It's just a part of life. And earlier today, I just was dealing with a lot of emotional and spiritual warfare. And it could be because it's like around that time. It could be just life in general. I don't know if it's just like a series of events have like caught up to me and then now I'm actually thinking about it, or if it's just that time. I don't know. I don't know what's going on. I'm just so like I almost started this video in tears. Like this is how how emotional I am. And it's so crazy because you would think for someone who used to be cynical like me, I could just not be emotional at all and just never feel anything and never like anyone or have an idea of being in a relationship or allow people to get to know me as a friend or whatever else. Like even friends in my life, like anything like that. And I'm not going to pretend like I'm not the type of person who does have friends, who who does apply for, jobs. And I don't mean just jobs in general. I mean in the past and things like that. I'm the type of person who does go for things, and sometimes I could just it could be like we're looking for such and such, and if God says go, I apply for it. And most of the time when he says go, he makes a way out of no way. And it's so weird because I always thought that once I made it to a certain point in my life, I would just be content with everything. Nothing would phase me. Like, I know that sounds so unrealistic because when life happens, you can't control how you're going to react to it. You can't control who you do and do not like. You can't control who you are and are not attracted to. Like, it's not like you can make yourself want to like somebody or make yourself want to not like somebody or whatever else. Like, you could have your own opinion of them. Maybe they do something that you don't like, so it makes you feel like you don't like them, but really you just don't like their action. You don't not like them. And so it's just, I want to be transparent because I think it's important for us as Christians, as people who are religious, to really show what it truly is like and not just one side of things. Like it's easy to say, he'll make a way out of no way, even though that's true. He will, but what do you do when you're waiting? What do you do when he tells you to be still? What do you do when he tells you not yet? What do you do when what you thought you were going to have, you can't have? What do you do when you really thought this was the thing that you were going to get and you still can't get that because God has better for you? What do you do when when you're waiting on God and you've never seen anything like it, and so you have to have faith for it. What ears haven't seen and eyes haven't heard. What ears haven't heard and eyes haven't seen. What do you do in the meantime? In the meantime. That's what I should have titled this. But now it might be too late. But yeah, I might change it to in the meantime instead of faking it because I think there's another video called faking it. But what made me think about faking it is it's easy to pretend like you're okay with things that you're not okay with because you just feel like you have to fake it till you make it. You feel like if I just keep smiling, eventually I'm gonna laugh. And it's true. It works for me. I could, like earlier today, I could be bawling my eyes out. I mean, ugly tears. And I don't mean ugly like any person is ugly. I mean like the most disgusting type of way. And so so I could be doing that. I mean, I'm like I have like gave myself a headache from crying so much. It's ridiculous. And it's not that I'm not blessed because look around like you could see a wall, but this is one of several walls. Even if it's one wall, I have one wall. You know what I'm saying? So it's not like I'm not blessed. Like I don't have things. I have clothes on my back. My hair is flourishing. Like it's it does what it wants to do. For people who don't normally watch these videos, like the hair just does whatever it wants. I was gonna put my hair in a ball and I went to put the conditioner on it and this happened and I was just like, I'm just gonna wear it like this. This is how unpredictable my hair is though, seriously. And not trying to like overshare or give too much information, but usually when you see my hair straight, except for the one time or the like I think it was like 3 weeks I had like straight hair for 3 full weeks and I was like, oh, I got my hair straightened. That's the only time I've had my hair straightened. Other than that, I wear a wig. And usually what I'll do is I'll get a wig that is the same length as my hair. And for those of you that don't know as well, I'm getting over like this. I had like this weird something going on, like nasal decongestion and some kind of drainage drip and some other stuff. So that's why I'm talking so weird and why you keep hearing me like sniff in between because it's like a lot. And so yeah. So that's the only time that you will see me straighten my hair. And when I do get a wig or something like that, like any other time you see me wear my hair straight, which is probably TMI, and people are going to say you don't have to disclose this, but I think it's really important to say that because I don't want other women watching this video to think that I straighten my hair that often and they're like, their hair can't handle it. And then they ruin their curl pattern because they're trying to follow me. I want them to do whatever is in the best interest and the best health for their hair, not what I do with my hair. And so because I wear the straight hair wig a lot, it has I want to pull up my hair. You really can't tell anyways, but it's like I got this tucked behind my ear, but when I have it up, I might show you or whatever, but it pulled a lot of tension around the edges of my hair, and so it's really not healthy for my hair at all. Like the inside, like everything besides the outside, of course, looks good because it's protected, and I'll put it in like two cornrows or something and pin it underneath the wig or something like that just to protect my hair and my ends, and so it's not always out in the elements and everything else. But most of the time, that's what you see me wear. And usually, I usually get a wig the same length as my hair. So that way I could just wear it straight when I want to or curly when I want to instead of having to straighten it over and over and over again. I'm not saying, for people that do straighten their hair often, that's your choice. Like, if you want your hair straight, great. If you want your hair curly, great. For me, I have to try to take care of my hair the best way that I can. And so a lot of these videos, like from here going forward, are probably going to be me with natural hair or braids because the wigs, because of the tension around the parameter, is going to end up breaking my hair off because it's already pulling at the edges of my hair already. And I don't want to just wear a wig because I'm being lazy and I don't feel like doing my hair. Like, I'm just gonna probably have to just deal with wearing it like this. And also, me putting it, when I do have it out, in like a high ponytail or a ball isn't helping as well. So if I want to stop having to damage the edges of my hair or damaging the edges of my hair, I'm gonna have to probably wear it out or wear it in different styles and different positions so that my hair gets a chance to remain as healthy as it possibly can be. And so I always give like a little disclaimer because not everybody knows natural hair. And I also want to make sure that I'm not showing this image like I have to wear my hair straight to be polished and presentable. You see, I wear my hair like this and it still is good. Like, regardless of how you decide to wear your hair, just take good care of your hair and your body. The best care that you could possibly take. Like, don't worry about what anybody else is doing. Don't worry about, just because I work out every day doesn't mean you have to work out every day. For you, you might not work out at all. One day a week might be good. You might just walk occasionally. And I will say it's really unhealthy not to at least walk because your lungs, your like different things in your body that helps with your blood flow and your stamina and just your metabolism, things like that really do matter with your physical health. Even in like the functionality of your legs and arms and other limbs is very important for your overall health. So it's really important to at least get moving, to do something. And I am I'm not trying to pretend like I'm just like the strongest right now. Like, I think I did like one prayer earlier, maybe two, but man, I was really feeling it today. Like, just feeling a lot of like disappointment or guilt and hope deferred, just making me feel a certain type of way. And I just, I listened to some sermons earlier because I was struggling, and I really spent most of the day in tears. And so, even doing this video, I'm just like drained because mentally I'm exhausted. I really have given everything out, like, I poured everything out. And I don't know, like, it's so weird because sometimes you feel like you're over something or like something doesn't bother you, or you don't realize it at first until something else happens, and then it starts to really make you feel a certain type of way. Like, you start to think about what it is that you could do better, or second guess some of the decisions that you made in the past, which you can't change the past, so it's ridiculous to just overthink about it unless you're just going to use it as a lesson and learn from it. But I've really, really struggled hard. I really, really was struggling so hard trying to. It's so weird because it's just, for me, it's weird because I know God is who He says He is. So for me to be sad or for me to feel a certain type of way feels like I have no right to feel this way. But God didn't expect me or doesn't expect anyone to be a robot or to not be a human being with emotions. And that's what God was telling me earlier, that He doesn't expect me to be perfect or to be a robot. He expected me to be created a human being. And not a robot is the term that He used. He just said that he built me to have emotions, and that is a normal thing. And I can't be so hard on myself because most of the things that we are beating ourselves up about, God has already forgiven us for. And sometimes we forget how good of a God He is, and how forgiving He is, and how much mercy He has for us already. And so, for me, because I used to and sometimes still struggle with being so hard on myself, like, I know God is the only one that's perfect. And yet, still sometimes, when I make a mistake or I do something wrong, I can feel the enemy like pushing it in my face. Like, see? You know what I'm saying? Like, this is exactly what I was talking about. And I know this is like a little too raw, and people are used to me just being like, smiling and everything else. And I will smile because just because, I was crying earlier doesn't mean I can never smile again. It just means that I'm exhausted from crying earlier. But I really think it's important to know who God is. Like, I know some people say you don't know God if you don't have faith. And sometimes when when you have hope deferred, it feels like you're faithless, but you still have faith. It's just because you're waiting, because you're in a waiting period, because you're waiting for whatever it is. You're waiting for instruction. You're waiting for whatever it is from God. It feels like hope deferred. It feels like, God, you promised me this. Like, where is it? And I know that sounds selfish. I know that sounds so horrible. And no other Christian will ever say that because they want to make it seem as if they never have a moment of weakness. That in life, even when they go through tough times, they just always grin and bear it. They never ever have a human emotion in their body. They never feel sad if someone passes. They never feel happy. I mean, they just act as if having emotions like a real human being is unacceptable. And I really think we have to stop beating ourselves up and others up for having emotion. I don't think anyone should live there. Like, yes, you're upset, but also know and have faith and understand that God is who He says He is. Like, I don't think God meant for us to just be emotionless and have someone hurt or something happen to our friend and for us to just say, well, God's got her. Like, I would want to show compassion for my friend. I would want to show my friends that I'm there for them. I wouldn't just want to pretend like give them some kind of cliche term and act as if everything's okay. I would want to lead with love and kindness the way God intended me to, not to just sweep it under the rug or say a one line phrase to try to negate their feelings because we can't have emotions. Like, that's not the type of person I ever want to be. I don't ever want to be the type of person who's so selfish that I cannot see when someone else is hurting. So selfish for the things that I want that I can't even understand how someone else could be feeling. I just, sometimes we are our worst enemies. Like, I know we talk about the haters. I know we talk about these people who are mean certain places or whatever else, but even the person who was mean to you yesterday, they're gone. You might not even see that person ever again. You might see them a month from now or something. You might see them in a couple years. But that one moment is just a moment. You have to look yourself in the mirror every day. You have to decide to do better every day. You're the one who has to tell yourself that you can do things when you feel like you can't. You're the person who has to keep speaking life into yourself. No one else could do that. Every time you say something negative to you, you are making it a reality in your mind. And sometimes, I'm going to say this, but sometimes the adversary isn't your worst enemy. Sometimes it's you. Sometimes he knows that all he has to do is present something to you. and with you not being able to have it will be enough to destroy you. Or he'll present something to you to distract you long enough so that your purpose is gone, or so that God gives your purpose to someone else, or so that you are deferring your own destiny. Sometimes we don't even realize that we are the ones that is creating havoc in our lives. We're the ones that are constantly saying, and oh, this person needs to do this, or this person should do this way, or the main thing that I hear a lot of people say is, oh, my, because my parent did this, or because my friend did this, this is why I'll never be able to do blah. Instead of acknowledging that it's your turn. Your friend can no longer carry that burden. If they ask for forgiveness, forgive them and move on. It might be hurtful. Maybe you don't need to be friends with that person anymore, but you still should lead with love and kindness. Don't allow that person, that guilt, that betrayal, whatever it is, to turn you into someone that you're not. Don't allow it to put your guard up so that I know that was like so ugly. I'm so sorry. And I don't mean ugly because, we're all beautiful in the eyes of God and stuff like that. I just mean like, why did I make that face though? But you don't want, oh my goodness, like the tears just keep coming. I'm so emotional today. Like, you don't even understand. It's ridiculous. But you don't want to be so guarded that you push away someone who actually really did deserve to be a part of your life. That so guarded because the last person hurt you that you can't allow anybody else to love you. You don't want to be so guarded because someone from your past hurt you. Any person, it could be an adult, it could be a friend, it could be whoever, that you never have another friend, that you never allow anyone else into your heart, or never allow anyone else an opportunity to be the thing that God intended for them to be in your life. You never want to push away the right people because of the wrong thing, or because of something that happened in the past that made you become a guarded person. And I get the guarded word from a sermon earlier because they were talking about letting things go. But when I think about guarding ourselves, I did take some notes earlier, but they're all over the place. Like, I literally ran out of room, so I started writing on the back of the binder. Like, this is how bad my notes are. It's like I have notes everywhere because I love writing. And so, for him, when he was saying being guarded, he just said, forgive yourself, others, and God. Forgive yourself because a a grudge shifts you from being inviting to investigating. Like, so his example was like, if somebody's nice to you, or you were the person who was always giving, or you were smiling everywhere, and you allow someone who hurt you to make you walk around with a frown, or constantly saying, well, this person couldn't possibly like me because, or what do they want, or whatever else it is. And oh, I'm so emotional today. All day. This has literally been all day. Like, I've been like doing other stuff and writing and like going like this so I don't get tears on my paper. And like this and like this. Working out and like tears are falling while I'm on the bike. It's like ridiculous. It's so crazy. But you don't want to allow something from your past because oh yeah, I think the grudge being shifted from inviting to investigating was for yourself and others, because you would let other people in and be generous when it comes to other people. You'd be helpful when it comes to other people. But because one person took advantage of you, or because one person did something that hurt you, now all of a sudden you have your guard up and you just can't be the person that God intended you to be. Or you choose not to be the person that God intended you to be. He wanted you to be helpful so you could help the right person, because that person was going to help you advance in your career. That person was going to help you somewhere down the line in a way that you didn't even know you needed. And it doesn't even have to be like beneficially with a financial thing. It could be something like a beneficial friendship that grew from that one moment. And he said that you have resuscitation and resurrection. He said like resuscitating something is like when, when you're in a medical place and they are putting like the little things on the person, and they say clear, and then he said everyone's hands goes up and they stop touching the thing. And he's like, do you know why you stop? And they said because of the currents that go through it or whatever, and you want for your own safety. And he's like, that's exactly what God does. He said that He said when God's hand is on something, it's not for you to be all in it. Like, it's not for you to be moving things around or like doing things, or especially when he says resting. He doesn't intend for you to do extra stuff because he's telling you to rest. He expects you to rest, not continuously keep putting your hand in things that is supposed to have his hand in it. And God is trying to create this path for you, and you're so busy marking it up and trying to create extra roads that you can't even see where the path really is supposed to lead you. And so it's just things like that. And then he said, when you're forgiving God, he said you have to forgive God. And he said that a lot of people won't understand this because they will just think that they will say, oh no, we're not going to say this because we don't want to talk about how you could be angry at God when you're waiting, or when, hope's deferred, or when you're going through something in your life, when in reality, most people do feel this. They feel frustrated. They feel like nothing's going to happen, or like, when is it going to happen? They know it's going to happen, but they're like, when? They feel like they just feel hope deferred. They really feel like, is it something that I'm doing? Like, am I doing something wrong? Is it that God doesn't think I'm good enough because I don't get to have these things? That I miss something, you know? And he said you could be frustrated because he didn't meet our preference. So just because we want something doesn't mean that's what God wants for us. It says that we could be mad because he did what we said and not what we meant for him to do. Like, you could say, his example was, you could say, God, give me peace. And the next thing you know, your relationship's over. And you're like, God, I said, give me peace. I didn't mean for you to break up, to get rid of the guy that I was with, or the girl that I was with, or whatever it is that you're going through. And he's like, but you said give you peace. You didn't say how God was going to give you peace. And so then he, in conclusion, said something like, peace is problems under submission. And I really think that's a good way to think about it, because he said that problems are inevitable in order to have peace. He said that you will need to have a problem in order to find your peace, because when the problem is under submission, when the problem is sustained, that's what gives you the peace that God intended for you to have. I know I'm all like over the place and sounding crazy. See if I wrote anything else down. I hate doing this in the video. Not hate, just like doing this. Okay, I did say that part. I wrote down like a little note. And so I listened to that, and I listened to what you can do. And instead of faking it, it made me think of making it. It made me think of taking all of the moments where you're pretending to smile, all the moments where, and there is like this scientific study that says, I know, such a nerd. But there is this scientific study that suggests that if you smile for a certain period of time, it will actually make your whole mood change, which in turn will change the trajectory of your day. And so, like, let's say at this moment, I just decided to smile for like 30 seconds or something. That's a long time. Maybe 15 seconds. But I decide to smile. You will notice like the posture, your demeanor, like different things about you will start to change, and suddenly you will forget. You might not forget why you're sad or why you're mad or whatever else, but it will make you feel happy. Even if you laugh, like we had this one time in school where we just laughed, continuously laugh for no reason, just make yourself laugh. And the next thing you know, you notice your mood change. Just like when you meet someone and they're super joyous and happy and they're smiling. Like, honestly, you don't know what that person is going through or what they went through, but they're smiling right now. And they're smiling and okay, I need to get it together. Somebody's going to say this is really hard to watch. But even when people are smiling, you never know what someone's going through. And it's so easy for us, especially today, to say, oh, I want a life like this person, or I want to look like this person, or I wish I had a boyfriend like this person, or a girlfriend like this person, or a car like this person, or a house like this person. But if the person is not for you, it's not going to make you happy. God knows what you need, not what you want. If even when you see that relationship, you don't know what they had to go through to be in that relationship. Do you want their past? If you don't want the type of past that they had, then you don't want their future. You might not, you might want that because it looks good on the outside. You're not in their home. You have no idea what she's going through on the inside of the house. Not only that, but the personality could be completely something that destroys you. You might not be able to deal with that personality type. You might not be able to deal with some of the things that that person does. But because you see one picture, you think that's what you want. You could have a house and the house could be completely empty. You could be super sad in an empty home alone. Nobody wants that, but you like looking at the house because you think that's going to make you happy, and it won't. You might have this dream car, this car that you always imagined you would drive, but the car is not going to make you happy. The only thing that will make you and give you true happiness is God. That's it. You can't put your happiness in a person because people will let you down because they're human. They're going to make mistakes just like you do. You could say, "Oh no, that's unrealistic." No, people will make you happy. People will make you laugh, but it is your job to allow God to make you happy and for you to make yourself happy. And any laughter that comes after that is just a bonus. Okay, we done made it to the end. So, in one of the second or third sermons, I think it was like the third, because I had played one like 3 times because I was like, I need to get this word because I was really struggling today, like hard. Like, I'm gonna probably have to read an extra chapter of the Bible tonight, and I'm gonna have to do some more praying because I really was like, whew, life was just like, what did the 5 fingers say to the face? Slap. And I was just like, goodness gracious, okay, this is how we doing today. But yeah, it was crazy. And so, in the one thing, I think I took other notes too. Well, I spent some time reflecting with God. I played some what I call meditation. And it's not the type of meditation that you think. I'm going to say this name because for me, this has really given me so much peace in my soul. Like through my breakup, through anything that I've been going through in life, it really has given me like a space to really just be able to reflect, to be calm, to really just take in the goodness of God without thinking about anything else. And it's by Dappy T Keys. He's a pianist, and he plays Christian music, and it's instrumental on the piano. And it's not just like, loud, over the top music. It's really mellow, it's really calming. It's really something that you can listen to while you're spending time with God, really, really low, and you could hear the instruments, and it's not taken away from the moment with God. It really just allows me to clear my mind and just focus on Him. And I mean, I was told it from someone at one of my shows, and she had listened to it when she was going through something, and it has been the thing that has like really kept me sane. It's really kept me focused in areas where sometimes it's hard to focus. Sometimes life really happens, and it's that thing that gives me that peace. Like, God gives me peace. So of course, while I'm focusing on God, something like that would help. And it's been such a blessing to me. So the last sermon was talking about mending a broken heart. And I say that not because of relationships or anything like that, just when you have an idea of what you want your life to look like, or things that you think will happen in your life, or it could be people, it could be places, it could be jobs, it could be whatever. It could be yourself. It could be what I think I should be doing, things that I should have done right, things that whatever else it is. Like, I'm so hard on myself sometimes, it's ridiculous, and I'm trying to get better at it. And the pastor reminded me in the sermon. This is like one of the several things that I took away from it, but I put this on a note card, because I really wanted this to be the thing. Like, this stood out the most to me. And it says, God loves me too much to make or let me go out like this. So true. So in conclusion, you don't have to fake it till you make it. Even when you're in a moment, just like a moment of waiting, or just a in between part of your life, whatever you want to call it, know that it's okay to smile. If you're saying you're faking it till you're making it because you're smiling, that's fine, but you can't fake faith. Faith is something you have to actually have. You actually have to believe in God. You have to actually trust in God. And when you are in moments of weakness, when you really feel like it's super hard, look for things that encourage you. Look for things that look to God first. Don't just call a friend. Don't just do anything else, like go in the Bible. What I do is one of these, and I stop, whatever page it is, I stop and I just read. And usually it's exactly what I was looking for. Every time. I know it sounds weird, and it's probably like one of those just like crazy things or whatever, but that's what I do. When I have a moment of weakness, if the first thing I do is get to the Bible, sometimes I would just pray immediately, because I'm like, I need God at this moment. I don't want to open a book. I just gotta hurry up. So I will do one of those, and I read the scripture, and it helps. And then if that's not enough, I read the Bible. I read the chapter. And if that's not enough, I'm praying, or I'm praying first and reading scripture. If that's not enough, I'm listening to my favorite gospel song, because I know that will uplift me. And if that's not enough, I take a moment and I really listen to Dappy T Keys, the instrumental. And I take a moment out and I pause and I let God just do whatever He needs to do. And then after that, I close it with a prayer. And usually, sometimes the inspirational song will be the thing that closes it out, and I'll thank God. But really find what gives you peace and focus in on that. You don't have to always fake it till you make it. You might have to learn until you make it. You might have to just be like, oh yeah, well, I know. Like, don't just pretend like you know something that you don't. You really have to learn it. But you might just say, oh yeah, sure, I'll help out here. If God's not telling you to help out there, don't just do something. But if you're in a church or somewhere and you know they need help, do the godly thing and help. If your family needs help, do the godly thing and help. Don't just wait for someone to call on you to help. Like, really just step up and do whatever it is that you need to do, because you never know when someone might be too proud to ask for help, or they might feel like nobody wants to help or sees them, and you might be the only one that knows that there's an issue. So just do whatever you can. And even when you're going through a moment, like, feel the moment. I literally cried so much today and I feel so much better. I literally have to get it out. I can't just pretend like I don't have emotions. And I feel like that's what some people do wrong. They pretend like they're okay, and then they drive themselves mad. I really feel like we're not meant to be a mechanical object or a robot. We're meant to be a human being, and we're meant to feel, because that's what allows God an opening in our soul. That's what allows us to have compassion for each other. Allows us to have relationship with one another. We can't do that emotionless. And know that He loves you too much to make you go out like this.